Welcome back. All right, so the West is done. We're going to talk about the Eastern Conference. What better place to start than the President's Trophy winning Florida Panthers, who will be hosting the Washington Capitals for the first couple of games, as well as Game 5 if needed, Game 7 if needed. Be interesting to see whether or not Florida lives up to all the hype. And that hype, it's legit. The Florida Panthers had a couple of rough patches here and there, but in the end, they're the President's Trophy winners, and pretty strong results. They come from behind regularly. They are just this fantastic team. They finished the season 58-18-6. They met Washington 3 times. They beat them twice. November 4th, they win 5-4 in overtime. November 26th, the Capitals won 4-3, and then on November 30th, Florida wins 5-4. So all the games in November, which means that these teams haven't seen each other in a while. For the Florida Panthers, they were 7-3 in their final 10 games coming into the playoffs. They did lose their last game spectacularly against Montreal. That's a throwaway. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Everybody sat the third string netminders in the net. Poor Johansson. At home, they were 34-7-0, which is ridiculous. Absolutely insane. Away from home, they end up 24-11-6. Considering the 5-5-5 start they had at home or on the road, that's pretty good. So, only winning 5 of their first 15. They end up winning 24 out of 41 overall on the road. That is a strong record. On the Washington side, it's a bit of a different story. 44-26-12. And OV will play. What kind of shape is OV going to be in? They need the goal scoring from Ovechkin. Last 10 games, they were 4-4-2. They lost 3 in a row. All those without Ovechkin, right? It was the 3 games. That's very telling. At home, they're 19-16-6. Away from home, much better. 25-10-6. So they're good on the road. That's good news. The problem is they're against a team that had a ridiculously good home record. Now, special teams do favor Florida for the most part. Power plays, 24.4% to 18.8% for the Capitals. Penalty kill is close-ish, but the Caps get the edge there. 80.4% for the Caps, 79.5% for Florida. Goal scoring, goals for, 4.11 per game for Florida. More than 4 goals a game on average. And all year I kept thinking, that's too high. That's got to come down. Never did. Washington, 3.29 goals scored per game. Goals against, both teams allowed 2.95 goals against per game. And just by the way these teams play, I'm expecting some really crazy results. This might be the series that sees the most goals being scored. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what happened. Key players on the Florida side look no further than Jonathan Huberdeau, who in 80 games had 30 goals, 85 assists, 115 points. He doesn't end up winning the Art Ross. He's not going to win the Hart, I don't think anyways. But if he wins the Stanley Cup ring, I guarantee he's not going to care. Barkov, 67 games, 39 goals, 49 assists, 88 points. Ridiculously good season for Barkov yet again. Giroux, since coming over from Philadelphia, has been excellent. His numbers overall, 75 games, 21 goals, 44 assists, 65 points. But Giroux looks like he did 5 years ago with the Florida Panthers right now. Like, he looks rejuvenated. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't actually decide to stay in Florida beyond this year. If he decides his career's going on for another 2 or 3 years, I could see him signing an extension of that length with Florida. Weegar is the one I picked on the blue line. I thought about Ekblad, but we don't know yet whether or not Ekblad's going to be able to come back. So Weegar, 80 games, 8 goals, 36 assists, 44 points. And Weegar's been fantastic as well. So really underestimated blue line for the Florida Panthers. The goals against are a result of just the style of hockey they play, I think, more than anything wrong with the blue line or anything wrong with the goaltending. Bobrovsky ends up finishing 1 win short of 40. He gets 39 wins to go with 7 regulation losses and 3 losses in extra time. His save percentage, .913. Bobrovsky had a very good year. And on the Capitals side, they have to figure out a way to neutralize all that. So you have Ovechkin, to me, is the biggest key for them. 77 games, 50 goals, 40 assists, 90 points. Ho-hum, just another 50-goal season for Ovechkin. Kuznetsov, 79 games, 24 goals, 54 assists, 78 points. If they're going to beat out the Florida Panthers, Kuznetsov has to be his dynamic best. He has to go out and score some highlight reel goals. They have to get that swagger back they had in 2018. And Tom Wilson. Wilson's on the board for 2 reasons. First, in 78 games, he had 24 goals, 28 assists for 52 points. Excellent numbers overall, and really might be Wilson's best season offensively. He has to keep his nose clean. They cannot afford for Tom Wilson to go over the edge and throw a dirty hit or end up getting into some kind of whatever with the Florida Panthers that limits his time on the ice, leads to a suspension, leads to him getting a whole bunch of penalty minutes and distracting the team. Wilson has to continue to play the way he's played during the regular season. The intensity of playoff hockey can knock the best of the players off their track just a little bit. Carlson, the one guy that nobody's talking about on the blue line when it comes to Norris, but in 78 games, all he did was produce 17 goals, 54 assists for 71 points. Almost a point a game. So ridiculously good numbers for Carlson. Samsonov, I think, is probably the starter. He has the record of 23, 12, and 5. The 896 save percentage is lower than Vanacek's. It's possible Vanacek's the starter. I don't think either goaltender, though, is going to have a long leash, and I wouldn't be surprised if they use both in the playoffs. It's going to be a tough go for Washington. So, over the last 4 years, Florida didn't make the playoffs in 2018. They didn't make them in 2019 either. 2020, they lost in the qualifying round in 4, 3-1 against the New York Islanders. In 2021, they lose in the first round, 4-2 against Tampa. Fantastic fight-filled series, but they lost it. On the Washington side, they won the Cup in 2018, and it's been heartache since then. 2019, they lose in the first round in 7 games against Carolina. 2020, they lose in 5 games against the New York Islanders, again in the first round. In 2021, they lose again in 5 games in the first round against Boston. I can understand why the channel's got an 89% vote in favor of Florida. I'm wearing the Florida Panthers jersey. I think they win this series, but I think it's going to be close. I think that Washington at least wins. I will say that at least this goes to 6. I don't know that it goes to 7. I don't know that Washington can put 3 losses on Florida, but I don't see a sweep in this. But again, they need Ovechkin back. If Ovechkin's playing and if he's playing well, they can at least, I would think, win a couple of games. But can they win more than that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.